I'm Daniel with NextSmartShip. We are a fulfillment company. We work with DTC brands, direct-to-consumer brands, to help them ship and package their products. And this right now, it's DTCAT, meaning Direct-to-Consumer Accelerator Talks. It's a webinar project that we started here at NextSmartShip. And our first guest today is Anchal Mehta from Consultmate, a branding and marketing agency. So hi, Anchal. Nice to meet you, and thank you very much for your time with us today.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for introducing me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's start with that. I should tell everyone listening to us as well that this will probably be about 30 minutes long. So let's keep it brief and right to the point. We're here to help those sellers who want to know more about how to sell their products online. And you, Anchal, you're the expert. And we're very happy to have you here. So can you tell us about yourself a little bit and about Consultmate, your agency, the company that you have co-founded, please? Yeah.
So Consultmate, I've been running for like last 7 years. I've been into this space, and it's a proper 360-degree marketing agency. We help brands, early age startups, even brands who have made their name in the market to develop a 360-degree approach when it comes to marketing online. We provide end-to-end full-stack services, right from building a great website to search engine optimizations, developing content, handling social media channels, as well as running the most important component these days, that would be ads. So that's about Consultmate. And I have worked with brands across sectors, whether it's tech startups, whether it's e-commerce brand, which is very in right now. So we are helping a lot of D2C brands to scale up and generate those sales, which they actually really need all the time. And I've also worked a lot in education and healthcare sector.
Great. Well, thank you. That pretty much covers it. So let's get straight into the point. Right now we are in the holidays. I mean, for most of the world, at least the Christmas holidays, the end of the year. I would like to ask you, we have some questions that some of the people watching sent us beforehand. So I would like to ask you, one of the questions that we have is basically, what are in your perspective, what are the best practices to run seasonal promotion, like seasonal promotions?
So before we jump on seasonal promotion, what are the best practices? Just to brief people who are planning to run this season, I would define seasonal promotion as any which there's a particular season. Let's say it's a winter season, it's a Christmas, it's a Black Friday. So these are all categorized as seasonal promotions. These are not very often. These comes once in a year. These kind of things are, according to me, as seasonal promotion. So the best practices would be, one would be definitely go for flash sales. This is the time where you can slash your prices, go for flash sales, give very, very good deals, lower your margins by 5%, I would say. So one of the things I would say, go for the flash sales. Next would be grab your first purchasers by giving them extra discounts on their first purchase on your website and their sign-ins. That would be a very, very good way to attract first and new users on your website in these seasonal promotions. Other thing a lot of people don't think about is the free shipping part. I would really suggest in the seasonal promotions, go for free shipping communication with your users, because that's where the leverage lies. People don't like to pay shipping all the time, and this is the time where you can actually boost your sales and boost your profits. And last and very most important point I would say would be, try reaching out your brand advocates, like people who have already made a purchase with you. 40% of the revenue comes from the repeat purchases. So definitely go for a lot of email marketing, reach out to your previous customers, run a lot of great Facebook ads. Creative assets should be awesome in this season.
Okay, yeah, so great. That's like an all-encompassing answer pretty much. And that's definitely what we should do. And you mentioned Facebook ads, and that makes me think of a question we have here. And to try to get to specifics, let's say if someone doesn't have a big budget, what would you say would be like a low to no cost promotional methods for specifically for holiday seasons, for this kind of time of the year?
So let's say you don't have a big budget. So if you are a little bit averse with Facebook ads, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Go for catalog sales ad and retargeting ads. These two, and conversion ads. These three are the ads which you cannot miss at the seasonal sale. Despite of the budget, this will let you get the results. Keep the communication very straightforward. Don't juggle it up with a lot of things happening one at the same time. If you don't have budget, keep the offer simple, run it across your site. Catalog conversions as well as retargeting ads are must on your Instagram and Facebook. If you have to bifurcate further, I would really say if you have a pretty much previous data with you, go for lookalike ads, go for lookalike ads based on your purchasers' user data. So that will really help you achieve sales in the lower budget.
Okay, so yeah, so really know how to do your ads and optimize to make sure you're really not wasting any resources. Speaking of that, since you mentioned targeting, obviously clients, another question we have here is basically how to catch up to your customers' needs and demands. I suppose I mean also how to catch up to what they will need in the future, perhaps. How can you be one step ahead of your own customers and what they eventually need, let's say?
It's a pretty, I would say, a difficult thing to crack. It's not that easy. Let's just first address the big elephant under the carpet. So obviously, it's not easy. I would say it's a very easy go do this and that. It's obviously not. It's very tough. So one of the things which I feel, if you have to look at the needs of the customers, study your competition very fiercely. Always be up in the market. Read a lot of stuff. What is happening? What is coming up in the technology? How the technology is going to evolve your product and service in the future. So you have to relate the dots basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to be in this customer awareness should be there. What your customers are talking about, what are they thinking, what are the future generation problems that are coming up. Like sustainability is one of the things which is very happening these days. So why people are running after sustainability? Because obviously the climate change is happening. So that's where your awareness lies, that if you have those thought processes aligned, obviously you will make it there.
Okay. And speaking of, and since we mentioned the holidays, obviously the holidays and any other kinds of holidays, they are seasonal. So they're cyclical, that they come and go. I think what every seller wants really is to have a consumer base, to have clients, customers, and to keep them, sort of speak, in their pocket for the future. So what would you say from your experience is really the best methods, and I know this is a very vague question, but the best methods to keep your customers loyal, to make sure, if it's possible, that they will come back to you, that they will check your website from time to time, that well, basically that you have that loyalty from enough customers?
I would say that you have to, first of all, plan your campaign very strategically. It should not be last minute for sure. It should be planned in advance. Suppose you have a campaign offer running up next week, so you should obviously start your communication 1 week prior. So for that, you can obviously again go for email marketing. Your database is there with you. Shoot them emails. Create a pre-buzz campaign that from so and so date till so and so date, you will be coming up with this huge sale like never before. Make them aware of the offers, that these are the offers that you're coming up with. You can obviously go with product bundling. I would say that you can create a lot of packages in the holidays. You can create a product or bundle of 3 to 4 products, which has never been done on your website maybe. So that's where you can go ahead and do that. Another way where you can go for is the specific coupon codes on a purchase of X and Y amounts. Suppose a person is purchasing for $500 on your website, give him that extra discount of purchasing more and making that transaction on your website. And another way would be, obviously, referral program is a very, very big thing. You can take a leverage, give that your brand advocates that benefit of introducing your product to their friends and family in their close net circle.
Makes sense. I guess I would say, and now more from a more mercantile, more greedy perspective. Obviously, we have big holidays like we have right now, like the Christmas, New Year's holidays. But what kind of occasions and what other times can be used for seasonal promotions throughout the year that are perhaps not necessarily so obvious?
I think Black Friday is pretty obvious. You can obviously go for Easter sales, you can go for Thanksgiving sales. And it really depends actually geography to geography. I'm just speaking from little American perspective as of now. But from where I belong, these things don't happen. So it really depends actually geography to geography. You can obviously, so December is the month of year ends, right? And you can go for your clearance sales maybe. So that's where people can miss on, that like you can celebrate half of the month, you can go for a Christmas sale, and half of the month you can go for a year end sale. And those kind of sales you can obviously plan.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like it really depends on where you are, obviously.
Yeah.
And really paying attention to where your customer base is, and not forgetting their holiday in those markets and in those territories, and not being geocentrical inclined to just focus on one. Now back to basics, not really basics, but back to specifics. Some people are asking us, some people are interested, how to use both social media and email marketing to provide useful content for customers, and basically to stay on their radar, which is kind of like what I was asking earlier about the loyalty of the customers. But specifically, how do you mix the social media with marketing without being spammy, without being too intrusive and abusive, I guess?
I think a lot of people, a lot of marketers, maybe brand owners, generally think that social media and email is all about selling your product. But I would like to put it this way, that it is more for educating about the product. You should not sell your product on social media all the time. Don't throw them with offers all the time in your emails. Just educate what is happening in your company, what is happening in your brand. Why are you doing this? Why are you coming up with this product, and why this product you should buy, not what price you should buy. So any effective strategy would be, if you care for the customer, everything falls into the place. A lot of brand owners don't really care for the customer. When the care is there, everything falls into the place. Then comes the product, then comes the offer, and then comes the journey of the website. So I would say care for the customer, educate them through your social media and through your emails, and then see what difference does it make. Let people come and engage with that content. And another thing I would like to add on social media is that engage with meaningful content generators, influencers in the market. Like if you don't have higher budget, start with the nano influencers. Let that content come in terms of reels, in terms of user generated content, because they are the people who are actually great marketers sometimes than your own social media agency.
And yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned some platforms specifically. I think this is one question that most sellers have, and obviously some products are very specific and work better in some platforms than others. But I would ask you, from your perspective and in general, what would you say are the social media platforms that new sellers should not waste time with, and which ones are the ones that they should really invest their time with nowadays in this, in this environment that we are in now?
Definitely 100% your strategy should be Instagram first. It should be an Instagram first approach. It should, gone are the days when we had a Facebook bent of mine and Facebook and strategy first. So Instagram, number one. Number two, I would suggest go for YouTube. Then Facebook, and then Pinterest. Don't waste your time on Twitter at all. I don't know about Snapchat. It really depends again on the geography. Back in India, it's not there as much, but I'm sure it's a marketing mix for a lot of people across geographies. So of course, Instagram first, YouTube, Facebook, Don't waste your time on Twitter unless you are providing some education. No D2C brands to waste their time so much on Twitter, I would say.
And I suppose, again, going back to what we talked before, it also depends on territories, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, some platforms are really more sensitive to some areas, some markets than others. Yeah. Anyway,
Pinterest,
just digressing. Go ahead.
Just to elaborate on that, Pinterest is really benefit for home decor, garden decor brands, anything which has to do with decoration of your house, and anything which has to do with beauty, skincare. So these Pinterest comes handy with a lot of these things. Even for bridal campaigns, it's really helpful. People make those kind of creative searches. All the creative brands, I would say. Don't miss on Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay. And before we go, by the way, I didn't mention we will have a quick Q&A after this. But before we go into that, I would like to ask about basically free trials strategy. I mean, if you're selling, especially if you're selling a service, what would you say are the best practices for especially for seasonal free trials?
Obviously, free trials for a service, it's pretty good because it gives a hands-on experience for a person who is actually looking out for a solution for his specific issue or a problem. Free trials is a must. Go out and give something extra in that free trial in the seasonal promotion, which you have not maybe given it before. Introduce them to a feature of your product or service maybe which is new, and you're not going to provide them under the free trial, which is maybe under the package that you're providing them. Go ahead and give that extra experience to the customer in that seasonal promotion, I would say. And you can obviously shorten the window. Instead of making it a 14-day free trial, you can make it a 7-day free trial in order to have a transaction and maybe the customer makes his mind a little more earlier.
Okay. Well, I think we still have time for one more question.
Sure.
This is perhaps a kind of a bigger one. But let's say you're a new seller, and again you have a low budget, which is the case I would assume for most sellers. If you have a low budget and the holidays are coming up, should you really invest heavily on promoting for the holidays, or should you instead plan strategically on the long term for the next whole year? Like I guess my question is, or this question from one of our viewers is, should you put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to advertising and promotion, or should you kind of like spread yourself a little bit thinner throughout the year?
My suggestion would be spread throughout the year. The reason because is that holiday season, a lot of brands are already promoting themselves with a lot of huge budgets. Sometimes your budgets are not enough to compete with the brands who have really, really high budgets. You actually lose on a lot of traffic and a lot of ads rotation and all of those stuff. So my suggestion would be plan for the year, spend little bit extra in the holiday season, because the overall sentiment is really positive in the holiday season. People like to purchase, especially after a pandemic, on sitting on last holiday at home. This is the time where people want to shop and engage in new stuff. So my suggestion would be spread for the whole year. If you can stretch a leg little extra, just to have great eyeballs on your website in that period, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you don't have, spread across the year, because putting eggs all in one basket is never a good strategy in any scenario.
Yeah, it's risky, right? Obviously.
Very risky. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so well, I think we're about halfway through our time, so we're going to jump into Q&A, and bear with me as I try to check with our feeds and see what people are asking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, okay. I have a really bad throat today and I'm coughing in between.
Oh, take your time. I mean, we're all dealing with winter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I have a question here from, and I'm sorry, I'm looking down, I'm looking at my display, from Benjamin Theo. What are the most important steps in setting up the website in order to gain traffic and sales? I think this is a question from a beginner's perspective, but it's still essential and important. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question once again, please?
Sure. So Benjamin Theo says, what are the most important steps in setting up your website, basically, to gain traffic and sales?
Okay, so selecting the right technology is very, very important for your website. I would say, first of all, invest good amount of time in selecting the right technology where your website, you want your website to be there, because that's one thing which will be there for you in all your journey right along, and you don't want to come back and forth and keep changing the technology you're working on with your developer. Right now, for e-commerce and D2C brands, I would definitely suggest, if you go for Shopify, amazing platform, very easy to use. Even developers, people who are not developers, can really work upon this platform. So yes, invest in a paid theme. Don't go for free themes, please. That's one thing which people generally don't want to spend, and they want to have free stuff with you. Don't do that. Invest in a good theme. Make your homepage with less of load time. Don't stuff too much stuff on your homepage. You don't need to show everything on your homepage, because let people engage in your internal pages and invest time in your website, I would say. So yeah, that's my top 3 pointers for this.
Well, and those are very valuable. Those are very good 3 pointers. Thank you. I believe we have about 5 minutes, so I think we can still go through another question.
Yes,
and
please.
this one is from an Italian, I guess, viewer, from Mauricio Capozzo, and the question is, I'm trying to buy in China, and due to the high shipping costs, I'm using the DDP formula with the railway. You can solve the situation in another way. Wait, you know what? I'm going to skip this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip this one because this one is not, it doesn't apply to you. It really doesn't apply to you. So I have another one here. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Okay, so I have another one here from Eddie. I think we still have time. So Eddie says, I have different tiers. I have different SKUs for the same products. So I think what he tries to ask is how to avoid cannibalizing your own products in sales and in marketing. Yeah.
So he doesn't want his products to be overshadowed by each other. Am I right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thanks for the question. I would say go for product oriented ads. I would say let's segregate your product into different. Let's say you have like 3 categories. One is shoes, one is clothing, one is accessories in your website. Create separate catalogs on Facebook Shop for your these 3 different categories. Run ads separately. Then your products won't be, your SKUs won't be overshadowed. Select the right target audience under each and every ad set and under each and every category separately, and then you'll be okay to go. You won't have any issues at all. Segregate your catalog under the Facebook Shop separately for each and every section that you want to segregate. Okay,
so basically keep things separated from one from another. Yeah.
If you want, I can explain it with an example if it's not comprehensible.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, and that's, I don't mean to rush, but that's pretty much it. That's all the time we have. So Anchal, thank you very much for your time with us. And I sincerely hope that everyone watching benefited from this, got some value and some useful insights. And please stay with us. Stay tuned for our next episode, probably happening next month. Again, thank you very much, Anchal, and good luck with Consultmate. We will leave the links for your agency below in our posts, and hopefully you'll have great success going forward. So yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year as well.
Same to you. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.